Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing today in this fine, beautiful, sunny, quotation marks, San Diego? It is around 10:41 in the morning where I'm at. Let me tell you, when I said sunny San Diego, that was a joke. Woke up this morning, a bunch of clouds in the sky. Not only that, I can tell the difference as well as a lot of other people, that when you look in the sky and you see the clouds covering everything, sun barely breaking through, that there's two different feelings you get from that. You get the just a cloudy day, super cloudy day, and you get the cloudy day because it's just was raining or it's gonna rain and everything. And that was the case this morning. Right now I'm looking at the sky and it's like there's a bunch of clouds. But it's just the clouds because it's a cloudy day. But when I woke up this morning, I remember before I even put on my glasses, I was just like, was it just raining? Was it just raining right now? And I put on my glasses, use the bathroom, go to the window, look out to the street. And even though it wasn't actively raining, the floor was completely wet. And I'm like, yep, it was raining. But I'm not complaining. Honestly, I'm actually really happy because I love this weather. I think I've said it in the past already. I love this weather. Right now, I got up, my lady went to work, fixed up a little bit, made myself some breakfast, some nice protein-rich breakfast, and I'm currently still drinking my coffee from this tumbler I got. Give me a second. Oh man, some delicious coffee. Funny thing about this tumbler is, at my job, there's a lot of people who go there from different companies and everything like that, to rent out event spaces and everything. And the thing about those companies is, whether it's for like job fairs or meetings or promotions or whatever, the thing that they tend to do is bring items to distribute out to people attending and everything like that, who are partaking in what's going on. Also, please excuse background noise. I think you can hear the faint sound of a fire truck passing by, but also you could hear Skyrim atmospheres. Yes, this is like the 15th time I played this record, but you've never heard this record on these Edifier speakers, which I just have one more payment until they're fully off. And yeah, like here I am being hella financially responsible. Anyways, so yeah, they bring a lot of things that they distribute out to people as like goodie bags or like incentives or whatever the reason would be. One of my favorite things was these boxes of tumblers. They had about 4 or 5 huge boxes. Each box had, I want to say, a solid 2, 4, 6. Like 30 to 40 tumblers per box, and there was 5 of them. So let's say it was 40. So that would be like 200 tumblers, right? What? Yeah, like 200 tumblers in total. I guess what had happened is the people who were having an event there, when it was all said and done, cleaned up, yada yada, and they packed up to leave, they had those 5 boxes left over. And when the higher ups of my job would be like, hey, where do you want us to send the rest of your stuff? They were like, listen, we don't want them. We don't want them, but they're very, very good products. Just distribute them out to whoever you want to. And that's what we did for these for like the people who work in that building and everything like that. Unpacked all 200 of them, put them on display, put a sign up, hey, feel free to take one, and I brought home a couple of tumblers, and let me tell you, they're quality. They're quality. Like, holy crap! Like, I never understood the difference between a tumbler and a thermos. Maybe there's a huge difference. I don't know, but how do you call it? I have a thermos. I got it for free and everything like that, and You know what? Let me just Google that, actually. Difference between a tumbler and a thermos. Okay, let's see. Unlike a water bottle or a thermos, a tumbler is not for tossing in a bag. It retains both heat and cold only for as long as you need to get from one place to another and lets you sip easily while on the move. It's the ultimate commuter vessel. Isn't that a thermos? Then what's a thermos then? Oh, okay. So I don't have a thermos. A thermos is the thing where you put your drinks in, and then you cap it off, and then you put another lid over it and screw it on and everything like that. That way you have double protection, but you can use the top lid as like a cup, so you can pour the drink out into that thing, and once you're done, you rinse it out and screw it back on for the double security. Oh, and this is I always thought this was a thermos. Okay, well, yeah, a tumbler. I guess I've always had tumblers then. Except this one has a clear lid, so I can look inside, see what I'm drinking, and it has this hole on the top which allow air to flow in, so when the liquid's coming out, it's a smooth pour. So yeah, hold on. Beautiful. I want to I would have started a podcast this episode like an hour ago, except I was cleaning up a bit, but it was a beautiful day. Well, at least in my eyes, a beautiful day to put on the Skyrim Atmospheres record on these new Edifier speakers. Sit down, enjoy this nice hot cup of coffee, and just speak to you guys. I know yesterday afternoon when I did this last episode, I was just like, you ever feel like you have no reason to feel bad or sad or anything like that? You have all the reason to feel great, but you just don't. Let me tell you, I don't really feel like that this morning. Maybe it's just, I don't know, like little things that come and go or whatever, but I feel pretty good. It's a Friday, which is my Wednesday. It's nice, at least in my eyes, nice weather outside. I love it. And honestly, I think yesterday talking into this mic and uploading it for whoever stumbles upon this video and listens to it, is what actually kind of like cheers me up. And because it was just like, once I uploaded it last night after work, I just felt great this morning when I woke up. I felt great when I went to bed. Felt great when I woke up. Excuse me. And I just wanted to do it again. I think this is one of my things of things that I do just to like, because I can and I want to, so I just do it. If that makes sense. Another thing is skating. I'm rediscovering my love for skating again. I've been skating since I was a kid. History of skating and me is about to come up. So basically, I think I was 6 or 7. I remember I've always been a huge fan of Tony Hawk. First skating game, of course, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2. Not the first one. Never owned the first one. But I had Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2. And growing up, it's fun to see where each map was supposed to be based out of and everything like that in real life. I didn't have the first one, which is like kind of funny because the first one actually I think it's either the third or the second to last map is actually San Francisco. And I was just like, yeah, I probably would have enjoyed that as a kid, But yeah, I was playing Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2. I love Tony Hawk. There's these VHS tapes called Tony Hawk's Tips and Tricks, Volume 1, 2, and I think they had more than that. And it's VHS. And we had a VCR and everything. And I would try and learn how to do ollies and stuff like that while watching those tapes. It's my cat. She's scratching in the background. It's Kiwi. When I'm here Like, she's typically a nervous cat, but when I'm here, she's like a lot more adventurous and everything like that. Her and Chef don't get along. I don't understand why. I wish they did, but yeah, oh, she's so adorable. Anyways, back to the VHS, the tapes. So yeah, I was a kid. My first board, my oldest sister, I think, bought it for me, and it was a packaged board from either Target or Toys R Us, one of those two. And it looked like a cruiser board. It had Hot Wheels slapped right on top of it, on the logo and on the bottom too. And it came with the cheapest bearings, trucks, bushings, wheels you could ever have. But I was happy. I didn't know any better. I didn't know anything about skating at that point. I just knew that Tony Hawk did it, and I wanted to do it too. And yeah, so me and my friends, my childhood friends, we would skate. They would have like legitimate skateboards. I didn't. I had that Hot Wheels one, but I was still happy with it. I loved it. It was great. Fun memories growing up with them and skating. At 8 years old, my oldest sister came home, and she brought me a skateboard. This Element skateboard that I think I gifted to my little cousin because I thought he wanted to learn how to skate. I wish I still had it, to be honest. But it was an Element skateboard. I don't remember the trucks, but they were some heavy steel trucks. They had, I don't even remember the bearings, but they were a lot better quality bearings. And I forgot the wheels too. But it was a legit skateboard. It was far better. It rode a lot better than the Hot Wheels one from like Toys R Us or Target. I think it was Toys R Us actually. And I loved it. And I skated on it. 8 years old is when I got that board. Skated on it, put a bunch of stickers on it. I still remember my Stone Cold Steve Austin sticker that I had in the bottom of it. And after like riding for some time, like not even a year, probably for like a few weeks, I just stopped. And I stopped. And I just never got back on it. But I still continued to play Tony Hawk. It wasn't until I was 13 years old, when I had just barely started 8th grade, that I decided to, you know what? I'm going to start skating. Because before, all through middle and high school, my sister, well, throughout all of our years in school, me and my sister went to the same school. Thing is, she was a grade older than I was, because she was a year older than I was. Which meant that my final year of elementary school, of middle school, of high school, I didn't have to go to and from school with her. I was able to do it by myself. So that's exactly what I did. And I took the opportunity to grab my board. Didn't even have a skate tool or anything yet. Didn't have anything. Just had the board the way it was when I got it when I was 8 years old. And started trying to learn how to balance again. How to, ride with confidence, commit, and everything. And I started taking the bus some of the way to school, and then skating the rest, and just skating and skating and skating. And what I realized was, here I am sounding like a pioneer, but yeah, this is from my point of view. What I noticed was, when I started bringing my skateboard to school when I was in 8th grade, next thing I know, there would be other kids in the school who would bring their boards, and then more kids would bring their boards, and then my friends would bring their boards, and we were like, next thing you know, our middle school was just filled with skaters, just amazing skaters. And I was super dedicated to learning it. Next thing you know, I'm bombing hills, which is staple if you're living in SF, the city of hills, one of its many names. And you got to learn how to bomb hills. That's just tradition. That's just expected of you if you're a skater in the Bay. And yeah, so we were just like, I was just skating my homies and everything like that. Skate on my day off, skate at the park, skate everywhere. Anytime I can skate, I would do it. And I got really good. And I got really, 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 really good. There, because it was my final year of middle school, and because I was going to graduate, my family would, give me gifts when I graduate. The thing is, when I graduated and everything, one of the presents I got was was what do you call it? Was another Element skateboard, but it was limited edition, and it was for graduating middle school. It had Swiss bearings, stock wheels. I forgot what brand they were. No, they were from Element. Yeah, because the wheels matched the deck and everything. And it was a limited edition Element skateboard. I think it was Chad Muska, and it was the Jackalope. If I can edit the picture in, I will. I will also edit my other skateboard that I have a picture of, and also the one I currently have right now. I'm gonna try and edit them, which I will come back to what happened with this last video, Well, anyways, continuing. So that's what I got. Loved it. I had to get adjusted to it because you see, my board at that point, the one I'm used to, one, it was worn in just the way I liked it, everything. So whenever you get a new board, you have to adjust it. You can't. It's not the same thing. Like the board you spend riding around the most, you tweak it here and there as you keep going to get it to the point of where you like it. When you get a new board feels different. Even if it's the same size, it will feel different, and you got to tweak that one to just the way you like it. It's just one of those things, Well, that was one thing. It wasn't tweaked to exactly how I wanted. I had to do that. Another thing is this. I was used to riding a 7.5 deck. 7.5. This was about 8 or 8.5, one of those two deck. It was way wider than my regular board. So I had to get used to that. And I did eventually get used to it. I loved it. My favorite thing. It was so cool. So cool. I had no idea it was limited edition. It was cool because there was like 3 others of the same style, because I guess they like did a promo together or whatever. I found it on eBay, size 8. Oh no, 7. I forgot. I found it on eBay, and I want it. Thing is, it's coming from Mexico and it's still available, and I want it, but it's over $200, despite it being out for 14-15 years already. It's still $200 because it's rare and it's limited edition, and I really want it though. Anyways, suckish part about that is, well, before I get to the suckish part, I got that board. I took that board skating everywhere I could. Got used to it, tweaked it up, got it to my liking, started learning more tricks, started perfecting more tricks, started getting really good at skating, started skating in 9th grade, skating everywhere and stuff like that. And I remember this, and I think I told my lady and a couple of friends about this too. I got so good at skating that I just needed to perfect or practice a lot more and get down more, like probably 2 or 3 more tricks. And what I was going to do is I was going to go to my local skate shop. They're still open to this day. And this was back when I was 14. I was going to go to my local skate shop. I was going to see if there's any amateur competitions that I could enter in the area. And if I, won a couple of them or whatever, I was going to ask to get sponsored. I didn't know everything that went into getting sponsored. All I know is that when I would play Tony Hawk Pro Skater games and the Tony Hawk Underground or Thug, the first one, whenever it came down to sponsoring, you just had to prove that you were good and worthwhile. And people with brands would go up to be like, hey, yo, we want to sponsor you, yada yada. We'll get these gears, rep our stuff and everything. Thing is, my local skate shop back home, it's called Mission Skateboards. It's on 24th Street, on my own neighborhood and everything like that. They have iconic looks. They try and, they're not a huge skate shop, but they try and do, the nice thing and rep the lesser known skateboard brands and everything, locals. But but they have their own style. And here's the thing: in San Francisco, the public transportation is called Muni, 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 and it has this specific style of writing and everything. You recognize it; it's iconic. They took that style of writing and put it on their decks, and instead of spelling out Muni, they spelled Mission, and that's what I had: Mission Skateboards, SFCA, San Francisco, California, and it looked incredible. See, when I skate, I go for a theme with each one of my boards, and when I had a Mission skateboard, the theme was orange and black, because the deck, despite being brown, aside from being orange, the grip tape was black. My trucks were orange and black; they were Ventures, and my wheels were orange. My bearings are still reds because they're Spitfire reds. But everything primarily was orange and black. How do you say it? Yeah. So going back to my original thing is, so I was using that board I got for 8th grade graduation, the one with the jackalope on it. I was using it so I can practice more. And once I felt like I was ready, I was going to go and ask my local skate shop for a sponsor so I can be sponsored by them. Because that's how dedicated I was to skating. I wanted to follow one of my heroes' footsteps and make skating my thing, you know. Thing is, one day, well, let's say this. In high school, I had a high school teacher named Mr. Rowley. Mr. Rowley, he was like a DJ and stuff. He was my science teacher. He, for some reason, would trip out whenever anybody would bring any skateboards into his class. I tried to explain, it's like, look, Mr. Rowley, I understand, but I'm not here trying to skate inside your classroom. I'm not fiddling with the board when I'm in your classroom. I put it to the side underneath my desk so I can keep an eye on it whenever I'm here in your class. I just don't have anywhere to put my board. Oh, that's not my problem, Mando. You need to find a proper location to place your board and everything. And I was like, all right, well, listen, it's how I get to school. So do you want to, every time I enter your class, do you mind if I just put it back there in your stuff? That way, you know, what do you call it? It's safe. No one can grab it. That's the only entrance and exit to that room. And he was like, I'll allow it for today, but you cannot bring this board back into the classroom. And I'm like, what the hell, you know? There's this guy, we used to call him Predator, because he was a big dude, and like he had some sharp canines in his mouth. He looked like a predator. It was amazing, especially with the dreads. Nice guy, great guy. One of the nicest guy. He was like, hey, Mando, I could just hold on to your board and everything. I was hesitant at first, but I let him. Every time I had Mr. Rowley, his class and everything, I would give my board to Predator, and he would hold it on to his class, because the other teachers didn't trip about boards. They're like, hey, don't mess with them. Just place them against the wall for the rest of the class, and once you're done, just grab them, go to your next class. That was it. So, how do you call it? Yeah. One day, I gave my board to Predator, because all the other times I gave him my board, once class let out, we met up with each other, and he just gave me my board back. I'm like, dude, I appreciate you. All he wanted in return was to ride the board, like from time to time, which I let him. You know, it was a decent sized board, just kick the table. How do you call it? And yeah, that was really about it. It wasn't a bad deal at all. Other people loved my board. That's why people wanted to ride my board and everything, until they brought their own or got their own, whatever. So what had happened was, that's one day I let him hold on to the board, and then class let out, and I don't see him. I wait. He doesn't show up. And so I go look around and I find him. I'm like, hey, Predator, where's my board? He goes, oh yeah, dude, sorry. He was like, it's in the classroom. I left it in the classroom. I go to the class he just had. It's nowhere. Absolutely nowhere. And I try and find it, try and find it, try and find it. Nowhere. Just, it can't find it. The teacher he had the classroom, she was like, yeah, no, he left the board in here, but it's not here anymore. And I'm like, God damn it, and this is before high schools had cameras inside. And so I go find him. I'm like, dude, where's my board? And he's like, I left it in the room. And I'm like, it's not there. And he goes back and tries to find it with me. And he's like, it's not here. And I'm like, no, duh, what? I ended up narrowing down because I started like really questioning people and everything like that. I had no idea I had skills of interrogation when I was barely 14 years old, because when I would walk up to people and start questioning them and everything, they immediately told me stuff. Either the concept of a snitch wasn't a thing back then, or maybe I was just that good. I don't know, but yeah, they immediately told me who they believed it was. I narrowed it down to one guy, and thing is, that guy, he was way taller than me, and he was fit. And when I was 14, this fool was 18, 4 years older than I was. And around that age, a 4 years difference makes a difference, because in that age we're still developing our strengths and stuff, physical strength, while they have already had 4 years of development ahead of you. Keep in mind, when this guy was graduating in 8th grade, I was still in 5th grade. So it makes a difference. It's not like, we were both in our 20s and we both worked out and it's just, it's a toss up. No, it was like this guy was stronger than me. His homies, same exact age, stronger than me, bigger than me and everything. And they had the rep of being one of the toughest guys in school. I got mad because I confronted them, and he got mad at me because I was accusing him. Keep in mind, I had zero proof that he had it. Didn't see it at all. What do you call it? It's getting me annoyed. so what do you call it? We met in the football field. We didn't have a team for the school, but we met in the football field. I ended up taking his homie for 3 rounds. And his homie, this huge, broad dude, one of the toughest guys, at least rep-wise, in school. When I went up against him, and I didn't even know I could do this. First round, shoved his face into the grass. Second round, when he was about to slam me, I leaned my weight towards one side, dragged him down, got onto dominant position. Third round, this guy tried to take me on when I wasn't ready. Like, we were just standing there. I was just stretching. And I'm like, all right, well, this is going to be the third time we're going to go against each other. And when I was still stretching, this guy charged. He charged. But I still managed to grab him. And it was raining. And I, again, shoved his face into the mud. Into the wet grass, into the mud. He was pissed. And I could tell he was pissed. But here I am, 14-year-old me, taking on somebody 4 years older than I am. And actually working him. He comes up from behind, wraps his arm around my neck, picks me up, slams me, gets on top, and he's ready to beat the absolute hell out of me. And he was mad. He was mad. I knew I was going to get wrecked at that point, because at the end of the day, this dude is still strong, and he had more weight on me. So, of course, he was going to get the dominant position. But it's just like, in my head, I'm just like, dude, you suck. You suck. You got embarrassed in front of your homies, and and now you mad? I'm like, okay. Anyways, I went up against the guy who ended up, having my suspicion of being the one who stole my board. He was tough. Turns out he was doing judo for years. So he had that on me. And he was just flipping me like a rag doll. You know those dummies for jiu-jitsu and judo where it's just the body of a person, but it's like they're just filled with nothing but stuffing. You can just flip him and work on your posture and positioning and everything. It was like I was that. And he was just having like sparring with me, I was going to beat him. Absolutely not. And it's not like I was going to spend the rest of the day following him and then confront him if I ever saw him with my board. That was the last time I seen them. That was it. Well, no, not the last time. My board was officially gone, and I was scared because I was be like, someone stole my board. I don't know, and I don't know how to tell my family. Eventually, it came out knowledge. Started crying, but we didn't have money. I couldn't buy a new one. They weren't gonna buy a new one for me or anything like that. And I definitely wasn't gonna take my old board to school. So I stopped skating for years. For like, I want to say like 5 years, until I started working for Jimmy John's after I graduated high school. And yeah, so that's when I found out that skating deliveries for Jimmy John was a lot more efficient. My bad. That's when I went to my local skate shop again, grabbed one of their name boards and everything like that, fixed it up, and that's when I started practicing skating again for the first time in 5 years. And I got really good at it. Of course, the dream of being a sponsored skater was no longer there. That was at its peak when I was 14 years old, and it died when my board got stolen. So all I did at that point was skate for work and skate for fun, and that was it. Thing is, after ninth grade, I had to go to summer school before I started 10th grade. And at one point, I see the guys that I went up against in the football field. One of them was holding a board. And when I saw that board, under all that tagging that they did on the deck and everything, I was able to make out bits and pieces of the original graphic of the deck and make out that was indeed my board. That was mine. And he had the one that I knew that he stole, but there was absolutely nothing I could do about it. Because again, one, he was with his homies. It wasn't going to be a one-on-one deal. Two, he was a better fighter than I was. And three, let's say I got my board back, it wasn't going to be my board anymore. It was done, He ruined it. The aesthetics were gone. Everything was just absolutely ruined. And it was just like, yeah. Anyways, second board, my SF board. I had another board after that, but I didn't take a picture of it. I've had it for years. Love skating, skated to work, skated to and from, skated during and everything, skated on my free time. Just skated everywhere. Got really good at it. The thing is, moved down here and didn't skate for a few months, but then started skating again to work because work was pretty far away and I needed to cut down time. I used to have to leave at 12:20 just so I can be at a station by 1:05 and then get to work by 1:40 so I can change and then start my job at 2. Found out I can cut the commute from my house to the station from 35-40 minutes to just about, my best record was about only 10 minutes, and by skating, and that's exactly what I did. So oops, dropped my phone. So I didn't have to do it as I didn't have to leave the house as early as I did. You know what, give me a second, I gotta flip this record around. 1 second. What's up, buddy? My son. Grab my phone too. Someone keeps doing that horn outside. I don't know what it's about. Oh. They're doing rail works. All right. So I moved down here. Still had that Mission skateboard that I've had since 2013. And I met a lot of people when I started working for the trolleys down here. One of them was selling his longboard because he just wasn't skating. I never had a longboard. Was always interested. He showed me a picture of it. Gave me the rough estimate of the measurements. Thought about it. And I was like, how much are you asking for it if you're selling it? He's like, just 100. And I looked at it and I kept pondering on it because he knew I skated. So that's why he came up to me first. Here, and then I was just like, you know what? Yeah, I'll take it. He brought it the next day, gave him $100. Started using that for a while. And I loved it. Oh my, longboarding is so different than just regular skateboarding. Longboarding, especially with those wheels and those wide trucks and everything. Oh my God, it was smooth. Smooth. It was incredible. So I was using that for a while. Here's the thing. I remember when I first moved down here, me and the woman I moved down here with when we were still together, she got annoyed with me, going like, why do you always stress about locking the doors, this and that? Look around us. It's a safe neighborhood. No one's going to do any of this. I stuck to my guns. And I was like, no, we're locking everything. Because here's the thing. She grew up in a very sheltered household in a gated community. She was smart in a lot of things, but she was naive when it came down to security. I, on the other hand, grew the exact opposite of what she did. So, of course, me being paranoid, cautious, and locking everything up that's not being used by me at the moment is priority. So, yeah. Anyways, it was on me that I started getting a little too lax. Where instead of tracking dirty skateboards into the house, I would leave them at our patio, just leaned up against the railing and everything like that. I would leave my regular skateboard and my longboard and all that stuff. Well, anyways, I was using my longboard for a long time, and I left my regular skateboard there for days on end, for weeks on end and everything like that without ever skating it. Until one day I decided to use my regular skateboard. I had to like relearn how to balance on a regular skateboard again, but eventually I did it. And it just came back like, riding a bike. And did that for a few days. Came home one night about like 1 a.m. after I got off of work. And when I walked back to the house, I realized, where's my longboard? Did I take it inside? So I went inside, started checking everywhere, and I asked her, like, where's my longboard? I don't know. I don't touch your stuff. And I'm like, yeah, sure, okay. It turns out it was stolen because despite our apartment being tucked all the way back in this nice residential area, still across from us were these ghetto ass condos, some ghetto ass people. So yeah, and that was only further solidified with one day. She doesn't lock her door. She didn't lock her doors on her car. So she would leave stuff in there. Her key was broken at the time. So if you just took the piece of key in there, it wouldn't turn on the car unless you had the key fob with it. So she held on to the fob, but she left the key inside her car. And what had happened one night was she left early, and I was getting ready for bed because I worked a 16-hour shift that day. And then she came back running and crying, and I was like, what the hell is wrong? And she said that someone broke into the car. Turns out a lot of cars that were parked there had their windows smashed open. And a couple of witnesses who spoke to the cops, already made reports, said that it was a couple of youngsters from the apartments across from us. And I was like, that's it. I knew that they're the ones who swiped my board. I remember I went on skated around just looking for anything that remotely resembled my longboard, because I was just going to take it back by any means necessary. Anyways, yeah, nothing ever came of it. Nothing ever happened. I just chalked it off to a complete loss. So that was a second skateboard that was stolen from me, but I still had my mission skateboard. All those memories, all those fun times and everything. At least that one didn't get stolen. Until I remember 2 episodes back where I mentioned about that time in 2018 when I ended up finding those 6 dudes at once. Yeah, that was right after work. And that was before I moved to closer to my job and everything like that. So I still had to take the trains back out east and everything. So I was still skating. Got into a fight. My glasses broke, of course, but I couldn't hold on to my skateboard while fighting. And I remember I had to toss that to the floor while I was going to go out and like fight and everything. And of course, I didn't go back to get my board because that wasn't my focus. I ended up going to the hospital, getting scanned, getting 16 staples in my head and everything like that. Someone stole my board while I was fighting. I'm like, in that area, it's not surprising. You know, there's a lot of scummy, low life people in that area. They don't work, they don't do anything. They're just, and I'm sorry to say this because, you know, I know it's not all of them, but a majority of the people there are just useless. They're worthless. Honestly, they contribute absolutely nothing to anybody, to anything, and they're just mooching. And they don't want a better life. They just want to be there chilling, getting free stuff and stealing. Well, anyways, someone stole my board. I haven't seen that board ever since that day. And it's been like what? 4 years? Almost 4 years already since that? Yeah, almost 4 years. But I started skating again. I remember last November, I forgot what was happening. Me and my lady were in downtown. And we went to Vans. And when we went to Vans, we were just looking around. And I was just looking at the boards. Like, not the pre-made boards, just like, you know, the decks that had nothing set up. And I was just looking at it, and in my mind, I was like, man, I miss skating. I really miss skating. And then I was telling my lady about it, and then I started talking to one of the guys, and I was like, yeah, how much do your decks usually go for? And he's like, oh, it depends what you want. All these right here, this price, these are this price. But the one I was looking at is this white zero deck and everything. And I was like, what about this one? And he was like, that's about 40. And I was like, what? And I looked at the Venture trucks that were pure white. Looked at the Rick the Clouds, because that's what was my old setup for my old board before it got stolen. Love those wheels. And the Bronson bearings. And I started looking at the hardware. I ended up walking out out of Vans with a brand new skateboard. And I only rode it a few times, like probably 4 or 5 times, and just never got on it again. And then when I started working this job right here, it's like, yeah, walking to work isn't a big deal. It only takes me 10 minutes to walk to work. But I was like, you know what? I could just be using this time just to skate, you know? So I kept contemplating it, and I just never did it until one day I was just like, you know what? I'll just buy some Vans, and when I buy Vans, I'll put them on and skate to work. And then when I get to work, I'll just switch shoes and everything to my work shoes. But then I just kept watching and everything, and just like not doing it and not buying shoes. And I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm skating. Grabbed my board. Started getting used to it. The first 2-3 days, I was kind of like, you know. But then after that, I just started skating. And skating some more to the point where I'm picking up speed. I have confidence again. And it's just like, it's incredible. Like, skating is so freeing. Skating works you. It's like, it's a workout, especially if you're skating uphill, which I do when I come home after work. And it's like, it's incredible, you know? I cut down, like, 10-minute walking to my job is nothing. I literally leave at 45 and get there at 55. And all I do is take off my jacket, hang up my jacket, my bag, get my radio, and put on a blazer. All within 5 minutes. And then clock in on time. Skating has cut that down exponentially. Instead of just a 10-minute walk, it's a 4-minute ride from my front door. Can you believe that? 4 minutes just to get from where I live to my job skating. And I love it.
it's helped me with my legs strength, my thigh strength, my calves, my ankles, everything of my legs. It's constantly working my core every time I have to like twist and kick off and everything and adjust myself, and it's helping incredibly with my stamina and my balance. And that's exactly what I needed. And I'm gonna keep doing it. And I keep skating on my days off. Skate uphill, skate everywhere. I think these next days off I have, I'm just gonna be skating to Balboa Park and skating around the area and just like, having a good time. Having a really good time. I love it. It's incredible. Incredible. So yeah, that's just my whole thing. And I'm glad that I picked up skating again. Honestly, if you guys have never skated, look, a lot of you guys may be like, look, I'm too old to be doing that and everything. Or if you're afraid that other people around your age are older and you'd be like, aren't you a little too old to be skating? Look, skating has no limit. Tony Hawk is damn near 60. And he's skating professionally. There's other professional skateboarders, even amateur skateboarders that are in their 20s, their 30s, their 40s, who are still skating. Skating is what anybody could do at any time, at any point of age or anything. That it is liberating. You think like, oh, I'm wheelchair bound, I can't do anything. Guess what? There's people without legs who will still go out there and skate. Believe this or not, you go on YouTube, you will find people who are blind who go out there and skate. Skating is a thing for everyone. Everyone. It's one of the best things I've ever done in my whole life. It's one of the best things I'm ever doing now. And that's the stuff that I'm focusing on. And I think that's the reason why I felt so great this morning. Aside from sitting here talking into this mic to every single one of you, I'm also just reminiscing of the past, good and bad, and focusing on the now. What am I doing now? I'm listening to records on this record player, on speakers that I bought, records that I bought, talking into equipment that I bought, and just enjoying every second of it. And then after that, I'm gonna go get ready, go to the gym, work my butt off and everything, feel good about myself, take a shower, get changed, get my stuff ready, grab my board, and skate to work, to a job that pays me incredibly well. To a job that pays me incredibly well. Work with people I truly enjoy working with. You got to look at the good things, is what I'm saying. I may not have exactly everything that I want to have right now, but in the end of the day, I'm still young. Same as a lot of people like you guys. Still young, despite thinking you're old. You're young. It's never too late to do what you want to do. It's not late for me. It's not late for you guys. And I hope the younger generation also realizes it before it's too late. It's not too late. You just do it. Just do it. My cat, Peaches, is acting crazy. She's funny. She looks like she wears pants and everything. But yeah. I don't know what my original point of doing this podcast was, but yeah, skating. It's a fun thing. My lady, she does her thing. She look at her. She went through like 5 different bikes, and she finally got one that she loves. This electric bicycle that still allows her to ride it like a regular bicycle. She does that for her second job, and guess what? It's like she doesn't have to put that money inside the gas tank anymore. She get that money for herself. She just needs to come home and charge her bike, and that's it. And it doesn't even take long to charge. It takes like an hour of that battery, maybe even less. And then it's good for several hours when using it. And it's like she's doing what she loves, And it's just working towards my goal of moving back home, join whatever PD I want to join, and make that my living. It's like, it can work. It can happen. It can, it's good. It's good to focus on the positive, what is I'm saying. Like even the smallest positive things you have in life, focus on them. And trust me, you'll see that you have a lot that can keep you motivated to keep pushing forward and keep doing what you love. So yeah, I don't know how this turned into a TED talk, but I'm glad it did. Kind of. I just need to fix my clothing. I did my laundry, and yeah. Oh, quick thing. So I remember earlier I mentioned that something weird happening with my editing stuff. So basically, what had happened is when I started editing the video for yesterday, something weird happened. So I boot up my editing software. Everything's fine. Nothing's out of the ordinary. What I notice is this. The things I usually do when I'm editing are now kind of acting different, and I have no idea why. And one of the things was when I was putting this transitioning effect. You know how in my other episodes when I transition from the title screen to like, you know, the background photo and everything like that, it fades out from the title screen and then it fades back in to the photo, and then at the end of the video it fades out. I know these episodes are just for audio, so people can listen to them while they're how do you call it, working or killing time or whatever. But how do you call it, sometimes there's times where I just want to show you guys something and I may try and direct you guys to the screen and everything. So I know visually it needs to be like flawless, seamless, whatever, you know. It's supposed to be a smooth transition. So that's why I use that blackout fade and black in fade. What was happening yesterday was when I was putting everything in place, there was this odd moment that when I would put the transitioning effect between the title and the regular photo, instead of fading out and then fading back in, it just completely went black. Like suddenly went black and then suddenly went to the photo. And it was just like, what? That's not what I want. I don't know if it's the problem with that or whatever, but because I tried a different transitioning effect, I didn't see that problem until after I already exported the entire video. But when I was checking the other transitioning effects, when I tried to like see if I could use something else, I noticed the other effects worked just fine. Absolutely no problem. I don't know what was happening. Hopefully it's fixed right now. And if it is, then, you know, you're going to see it go back to normal and everything. If you hear a lot of wind in the background, believe it or not, that's the Skyrim atmosphere final. Since it's just about atmospheres and stuff. But yeah, so that's the whole thing that I'm going on with my editing. And, wow. I guess I talked a lot because I had no idea. I thought this was also going to be a 30-minute episode. It turns out it's 53 minutes. But that's really all I got to say. What time is it? It's 11:30. Yeah. All right. Well, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, evening, afternoon, night, or morning, afternoon, evening, night. You guys are at work. Have a pleasant day at work. People who are asleep, I hope you have a good day's sleep. It's a beautiful day, despite it being cloudy. It's a beautiful day. So, yeah, let's get to it. All right, guys, thank you for joining me for another episode of Mando, the Mind of Mando. I keep messing it up with my other one. For another episode of Mind of Mando, I was your host. I've been your host, Armando Ortega de Leon, and I'll catch you guys next time. Take it easy.